is honest, the tempies do come. And I think honestly, even the one tempies, some horses struggle to get the concept of them, but generally, if they really understand the flying change and they are also secure in where that flying change goes, and by that I mean the shape of the flying change, if it's not here and it's more here in the flying change, they can get the one tempies easily enough, right? But if you start moving your legs in the one tempies and it comes here, and then your other leg's going on, and then they come down, and then they take so much time to come up, they get all scrambled. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. He almost has to make them flatter. Does that make sense? Like flatter and straighter. You get squirmy. Yes. Yes, it comes up and it goes down, and it comes up and it goes down. I know exactly. No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. He needs to flatten them out and make them quicker. And that huge air time slows him down, and he literally gets too slow in the flying changes. So go ahead, let's do, I don't know, a couple more single changes even, where I would put them. Well, keep doing them on the diagonal. I think it's okay. That to me doesn't really matter. The circle I probably would not do on a horse like this. Just because he also has to think a little bit about the straightness. I love changes on a circle, but I like changes on a circle more for a horse that isn't very elastic, or a horse that's pushing through me, right? So like if I have a horse that squirts through the change, like they go way too fast and they kind of like pull through the change, then I put them on a circle to keep them backing off a little bit. I would do it on a straight line, and I would make sure that change is straight and long. Does that make sense? Like quick, straight, and long. Like go on a line. The flying change is on a line. So this transition, that's the one that you have to school. And it's not to canter, it's to medium. And then good. And pet him, and then walk, and do it one more time. And just be used to that, right? I would get used to a little bit taking 2 walk to canter transitions. And medium. Very good. Good boy. That's exactly right. And then diagonal, maybe do 3 changes. And you have to get a little bit quick and think it's not before the change, it's 1 stride before and the change. And go. Yes. And go. Yes, that's okay. And go. Good job. And walk and pet him. Very good. Very good. Does that make sense? It's the change. It's not the canter. If you go flying on that diagonal and you're just running across the diagonal, you're just going to look like a crazy person. It's the flying change. Like that, it's like the walk to canter. If you were running around in the walk before you picked up the canter, that would look ridiculous, right? It's the transition. And then go ahead and do 1 or 2 walk to canters this way, and it has to be walk to medium canter, at least in your head. Yes, good boy. Yeah, and then walk. That's totally fine. Whatever. It's the thought, right? I don't care what he does. Very good. He's like, oh my god. Yeah, that's good though. Yes, good. That's okay. It's okay. So a little right flexion is all you need. Right flexion and the same speed. And medium. Yes, good job. Good. And do 1 more. Just because he gets himself a little bit against that right rein. So a little soft on the right rein, and then medium canter. Good. Medium. Yep, he's just a little behind you. That's okay. Do 1 more. But you feel what I mean, right? That's that flying change. Good. Right flexion, he doesn't come against it, and then he goes. Good job. Good job. Yeah, I agree. Good job. Yeah. Very, very good. Pet him for that a few times, right? Like, let him just celebrate that he did it. Good boy. That was very good. Yes, that was very good. And let him walk a second. That's what you want. Every time. That was very good. Good boy. Yeah, you guys are doing great today. Yeah. Yeah, that was very good. And I always try to like praise the colder horses with brakes, right? Like all they want is to not work. So if I get them to work for me when I ask, I give them a break, right? Like, here you go. You don't have to work. You don't have to work all the time. You really don't. I'll give you plenty of breaks. It's funny, like, on these horses too, I'm not suggesting this. I'm just saying what I try to do with these horses. I try to find the most efficient warm-up, and then I try to make it as short as possible, so that they are not over warmed up, they don't have to do too much, that the ride becomes super efficient, right? Like, what do I need to do to get these horses to do their job, and then I leave them alone, because that's what they want, right? Like, they want to do as little as possible. Yes, that's a lot. The walking's different, right? Walking is different. If he needs to walk, he can walk, right? You could walk him for 20 minutes, I don't care, right? That's different. But the working part of it, right? I don't want them to work too long, because then they start to lose motivation and go, what is this for, right? Like, and really for these kind of horses, it's for praise and a break, right? Like they don't get motivated by doing the work. Some of the hotter horses, they feel good the more they work, the more they want to work. These horses, yeah, I mean, he appreciates feeling good for sure. I think all horses do. But really what he's looking for is a good boy, have a walk. You know what I mean? Yes. So that's what I'd be looking for, is like, how can I get him to that? What's the most efficient way to get him what he wants? Does that make sense? Like, yeah, you do this stuff for me, and then you can have what you want. Very good. So do you want to do more changes, or do you want to do a little piaffe massage? It's up to you. That's how I would approach the changes, though. Yes, I agree. And then he could, I agree. And now you know where to go with it, right? And you just keep chipping away at it, right? And the other thing too, that I'm just saying it to say it, don't come out, if you come out one day and you say, okay, I'm gonna practice my tempies today, maybe you will and maybe you won't, right? It depends. And what you need to be training is the response from the canter aid to the canter. That's when I think, okay, I'm gonna come out and train my flying changes today, and I do, right? I mean, I try to have a plan for the day. If that's the plan, you start with the most basic aspect of the flying change, and you get as far as you get, right? If he gets it, he gets it. You can move on. Then you can start doing a single flying change. Then you can start doing 3 flying changes. If at any point in there you need to go back and go to just the walk to canter transition, do that. If it feels like you can keep going and do a line of 4 tempies, do that. If you do a line of 4 tempies and you have a late change, don't do another line of 4 tempies. Fix the flying change. Does that make sense? So then I don't know what you get done, right? I don't know what I get done. When I come out and it depends. When you school it that way, I've also had horses literally, and this is not a lie, go from I'm schooling single flying changes, and a younger horse will go and do 4 tempies, very good. 3 tempies, very good. 2 tempies, very good. And maybe even a handful. I've had a horse do 15 1 tempies the first time they've ever tried it. But that's a little bit the way I approach it. And I also had many days before that where I couldn't do a flying change. I did walk canters, right? But saying, this is how you need to understand the aid to canter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's a completely different feeling than he's getting in canter. Usually he likes to pull me out of my seat, and there he's actually taking me.
Yes, good. We like that. Okay, go ahead. And I would start with just regular prop. Yep. And let's just do a couple half passes first. Just nice, easy half passes so that he gets a little bit loose. So put him in a little bit half pass position and sit on top of him, not behind him. You're not very far behind him, but you're this. Good job. Good job. This for me is a nice trot for showing, actually. Good job. Good job. Good. Not too slow. Yep. Let him float through it. You know what I mean? Don't add too much cadence yet. I just want to do a little bending first to get him a little loose, a little hunches in, and not cadence. Kind of flat almost. And right flexion, yes, right flexion, good. We're just loosening him. Exactly. We're not collecting him, we're loosening him. And then come down center line with that same hunches in, and then you're gonna half pass to the right. And no collection, just loose. He's fancy, right? You don't need, yes, just loosening. Good, flat, 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 no collection, no collection. Good job, good job. And stay on top of him, not behind him. Good job, good job. He can't help but collect, right? It's who he is, yes. And yeah, little forward again. Not too flat, yeah, or not too, yeah, exactly. It's in there. When you need it, it's there. I promise, right? So you need a little bit of control when he does it and when he's very good. Good job. Good job. I agree. Just let him settle into a forward trot. Yep. And flip his crest once or twice and say like, don't hold yourself. Good. Normal trot. Flip your crest. Normal trot. Stay quick. Stay kind of flat. Good job. And little haunches in this way. But this is why it's worth taking a minute or 2 or 5, right? Getting him loose. And that has nothing to do with collection. We just want him, yes. Good job. I like that. And then center line, half pass. Don't let him come back. Little trot, normal trot. So then if this is what he does, I would school your lateral work like this, right? So a little forward, normal. Good boy, normal.
He's like, more
Literally. But he'll offer it, right? If he has the ability to offer it, he'll offer it. You have to tell him, I don't need it yet. Because then he's almost building up his ability to do it, right? And you have to say, I'll use it, I promise, but not yet. Very good. Not yet. Good. And sometimes it's just a little bit stiffness through the right side or the left side of his body. So you'll have to just touch him a little with the right leg or the left leg and say, are you holding your breath? Don't hold your breath. Are you holding your breath? Don't hold your breath. Good job. Don't hold your breath. It's a little on your right leg that he's holding his breath. So leg yield instead. Yes. Good boy. He's like, oh my God. Yep. Good. Yeah. Literally. Good. Have a little shoulder in. You're okay. Good. Very nice. And leg yield back to the wall. Good. No slower. Good. You want him tiptoeing, you know what I mean? Not massaging, but tiptoeing in the trot. Just like light, quick. Very good. A little shoulder in on the long side. Yep. Not coming back at me. Light and quick. Good job. And I would do all my lateral work before, for sure. Just to say, like, when you start collecting more, you're going to get more stuck. So I need to make sure you're a little loose. Yes. Good job. It's okay. We don't need it yet. Exactly. Good job. That's okay. And let him walk a minute. Does that make sense, though? We want it all moving before we start to press it together. Because if we start to press it together before it's moving, it's not going to move. Like, it's really not going to move. And the goal, too, is eventually, like, he has so much talent for that cadence, but eventually you want to start to be able to make it, and like we were saying yesterday, you can make rideability and adjustability in cadence, but eventually we want that to become easy, like easy, like he feels like he can flow through the cadence, get quick in the cadence, get slow in the cadence, all of it. And that also takes a good, proper trot, like a regular trot.
Right. He does not like to regular trot. He's like, that's boring.
Yes.
Like, but do it,
yes,
please.
He does need it. And I wouldn't do it around and around. I would do it in lateral work, right? Because there isn't really a gymnastic benefit to just trotting around. And honestly, even a little in the warm-up, I don't know if that is the most efficient way to go, is to have like a little trot warm-up. I don't know that it does anything for him. You know what I mean? I think even if you warm up a little bit with your walk canners, you can do walk work. I totally see him as a horse that you would walk for a long time before you get started, especially because he's not really one to build into the work. He works or he doesn't. Does that make sense? And I don't feel that way about a lot of horses, but he is that way, right? So I would walk for a long time, and then I would do some of these walk canter transitions or something like that, and say, now, are we on the same page? Are you in front of me? Are you on the eighth, right? Give him a little break, maybe do some playing changes. Then in the trot work, I would right away go into this kind of quick moving around, going to the right, going to the left, half pass right, half pass left, shoulder and right, shoulder and left, hunches and right, hunches and left, kind of quick and through with no collection. Then you can add put it all together. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If we tried to do lateral work, like he would freak out. Like it was almost like he was like, no, I can't do it.
Yes. 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 I believe that. Yep. 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 I get that. I think he's ready though. Right, and I don't think that's the wrong thing to do, and I think some, like you're saying, maybe he wasn't ready, right? Like that is a very real thing there, and especially with the stuff in his back, I'm sure took a minute, right? Like that's normal. But our job, and I think it's one of the hardest things about training horses is to keep moving on, right? And that really is hard, to meet them where they're at, but continue going forward, right? That is hard because we think of them as what they were, what they did, how they felt, right? But you want to keep pushing the envelope in the most positive way possible. So for me, I think again, right, like that kind of quick, no collection lateral work is gonna be good for him. And he still canters and gets a little sticky and whatever, but now you can. Because in the beginning, I'm sure it felt like that doing a circle. Right? Like, do the circle without massaging.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was like, you would actually trot and straight away, it was just massage.
Yes.
And like, if you were pushing more forward, he would do like a totalist extended trot. He would just like throw his shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. But I think it's great. He's on a great path. He just has to keep going. Yeah, I do too. Okay, go ahead and go trot, and then we'll make it massage. But first, know that you can go from walk to trot, and that also has to be obedient. You know, and normally, so the difference between walk to trot on a colder horse, this is a trick for you, and it's not most horses, but on a colder horse, I ask for trot with one leg, right, not two, and then I make sure that response on the one leg is sharp. Right, so when you ask for trot with the one leg, obviously we ask for canter with the outside leg. I make it my inside leg that I ask for trot. So if you use your left leg, it's trot, and he trots now. The same way that you ask for the yes, exactly. Good, and just one more walk to trot transition, and same thing, it almost needs to feel like walk to medium trot on the left leg. And then when you say trot with the left leg, trot, me, go. Yeah, good, that's okay. And then walk, good boy. Exactly, it's same exact kind of training to say, like, I want you quick and I want you thinking forward, not just trotting promptly like in passage, but trot. Yes, very nice. That's exactly right. Good. And then go ahead and come down the next quarter line. Keep normal trot for now. The next quarter line, and we're going to develop passage in a leg yield. So don't let him passage until he's in the leg. Keep trot. Good. And then quarter line, and then start leg yielding. And now start passage in the leg yield. Good. Ah. Good. 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 Little tap on the croup with the stick. Good. Good. And now a little lower. Try to stretch him in the passage. Same passage. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Move the neck around a little. Yep. Try to drop it. 1, 2, 1, 2. Little touch with the stick if you need. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, so come over here for a second and just walk and come over here. I'm going to show you something with your legs. So in the passage, when you need a little bit of energy in the passage, the legs work together. In the feet up, the leg works separately. So when you're in the passage, you're going to think like a Charlotte or like top riding, right? When you're in the massage, you want both legs to close on like this. I think of their whole body like a balloon, right? If they're a balloon, your leg down here should close, and the top of the balloon gets bigger. Does that make sense? So when they're trotting in the massage, he could be just kind of bouncing like this. That's fine. He's very creative. But if you want to turn it into a massage, it should come here. Does that make sense? Both legs come a little bit here, but you can be creative with it. Like if you feel like you need an impulse, you can close here, and then relax, and then close here, they don't always get it nasty right.
Yeah, no, that's the thing with him. Like, it takes him a minute, but once he figures it out,
and I believe that, right? And if you can stay consistent with that, it does work, right? So go trotting, normal trot first. Yep. And then go ahead and think both legs and a little tap with the stick if you need a little activity. So close both legs, hold, tap. Yes. Good. And then you can take both legs off and then hold, tap, hold, tap, hold, tap. Yes. And then both legs off and then hold, tap, hold, tap. Yes. Good. And now make it a little smaller. But same passage riding, right? So no piaffe yet. Yes. And then think out. Hold, push. Hold, push. There you go. Yeah, good. And walk. Good boy. Yeah, very good. Does that make sense? Yeah. So then even when you're riding smaller and bigger passage, the aids are still and here. And if he comes behind you, use the stick. Right? And I use the stick for rhythm. I don't use the stick for a correction. I use the stick to say, don't slow down in it, right? Especially because he's a little colder, and when you start closing your leg on like that, his first reaction might actually be to back off. Right? Like, he might think like, oh, she's hugging me, right? Like, I don't know about that. Right? You want to close it on, touch them with the stick while they're closed to say, I'm not saying stop, right? It's a little different. And then when he gives you a little energy, when you feel the back come up, pressure off, take the legs off. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that aid becomes, I'm going to hold this aid on until I feel the back come up. And then when I feel the back come up, I'm going to take the aid off. Does that make sense? This is the button for passage. When the back comes up, I say, good job, that was it. And then when he flattens up again, I'm going to close the leg on again. And it's not a lot of pressure at all. It's just a steady closed leg. And then when you feel it come up, then you take it off and say, good boy. That was it. All that means is the back comes up. This means you go like this. And if he does it, legs off, and let him keep going. Does that make sense? So let's look at the piaffe. So I would start the same way we started yesterday, with a little bit the rein back to trot. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking for me training the piaffe, not nerve-wracking, not like I'm nervous, but it's a little bit, you have to be careful training piaffe on a horse like this, just because he does think a little bit backwards anyway. That's why I say I think it's very important to train the piaffe with him thinking forwards, right? So that, yeah, whenever you're ready, yep. So that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Hi.
And then, but coming out of a rein back next time. It can even be one step if you want, but take your time, yeah, and then think, yeah, and trot out, stick, yep. So you have to think a little bit about the rhythm, again, the rhythm of your legs. Let me come beside you. I don't think I need to do anything, but when you go from rein back into trot, think a little bit about the process of your legs, right? You say, like, it's not forward.
What you see? Huh? What you see?
He just felt himself when he was on the ground.
Well, it will help him with it. It will help him, but I want you to do it yourself too. So I'm trying not to help him, but do it with all my breath. And then don't leave your leg out. Now, left leg. can you feel how he bounces from his left front to his right front? For me, it's very much a horse that struggles carrying the weight, right? So he almost turns it into a side and plays that way. That's not bad.
She's gonna hate this video. I'm the worst videoer. She's gonna hate this video. I'm the worst videoer because I start watching and then it's like. The only time I'm good is during a show because it's like 3 minutes.
Nobody can see it. Does that make sense? Like in the piaffe, I don't. He should be piaffing, not you.
Huh?
Then go with your legs.
Oh, I was just telling her I'm the worst videoer.
Like, when I'm asking to, you ask and I wait to see the response. Right? Because eventually, you ask, and he should, yeah. So you ask? Coldest thing in the world, right? He is like ice cold. I'll ask him 10 times in a row with no response, like literally like talking to a wall, right? So I whisper it, and he's like, no. And if you ask consistently enough, eventually they go, okay, stop asking, right? Like, I'll do it. Literally. these yours, Amy? Good job.
No, but thank you. I mean, like,
Very good.
last time that is, the difference is astronomical.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
I
you-
can actually feel him thinking about the pee off, like, oh, come back.
For sure.
Sit.
Yes, yeah. No, that's great. Good job. Very good. It's nice though, right? Like he almost requires it to be super light.
Right.
Which is nice. I mean, like eventually that's better than a horse that needs like overridden, you know? Very good. Good job.